Hello, it's Saturday. Running up to Christmas now. Just check the date now. Oh my goodness. Saturday the 17th of December. So in exactly 1 week's time it'll be Christmas Eve. Now what I'll be bringing you today is a video regarding my Hornby Star Class British Monarch. Now as you know, I originally bought British Monarch quite some time ago, and I think probably some of you may have noticed it was making a bit of a creaking noise when going forwards. It's sort of going going around the track. Anyway, so what I've done is I've actually done a repair for this locomotive, and I'm going to show you the various stages I did on that. Hopefully it makes sense. Sorry about the amateurish videoing, only I'm on quite a steep learning curve with my filming, and you'll see that I've done a lot of the camera work handheld, and so the camera's moving around quite a lot, but I hope that it gives you a good idea about what's involved in the repair of Hornby drive cogs. Okay, so now it's not a difficult job to do, and as long as you take your time, okay, and you make sure you've got the right screwdrivers and all the right bits and pieces, and also a nice clear working area. Okay, so I hope you enjoy watching this video, and obviously if you like what you see, press the like button and subscribe to my channel, Paul Cherry Trains, and also ring that bell because that will draw you to alerts, make you aware of alerts about future videos about my channel. Okay, so if you'd like to take a seat, and we shall begin. Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to my channel, Paul Cherry Trains. This morning we're not at Bedstead Junction quite yet, because we've got something we want to do this morning. Now this particular Star Class it's not serious what's wrong with it. It's got noisy in a forward direction. It kind of goes, it's hard to describe without me sort of running the locomotive along. I'm sure you've heard it before go along. It sort of goes sort of like that as it goes along. I know it's a bit of a bad impersonation of the noise, but it's this Hornby Star Class we've got here. Now what we've actually had to do is I'm going to try to fix new gears into this locomotive, and the first things first, what you need to do, in my opinion, is you could print the service sheets off from the Hornby website. So there you can see the gears that I wish to change, and it's all hidden under the motor, and they're going to tell you where all the screws are to get at it. Now I'm hoping that all this can be lifted out from the top. It looks like it can be. Okay, so we'll do that. I'm going to take you through the stages as we go. Okay, now the key part of this is on the list of spares. This is a Hornby 4000 class locomotive, which is the Star Class 4000 class. Okay, is number 9, the gear set. Okay, is X6904. It's get out to focus. There's the same gear set on all three models that they do, and what I've actually got here now is X6904, and there's the two cogs that I wish to replace. Okay, and hopefully this will quieten the engine down. And like I say, I think probably with the noise might go away, or it might just run on forever like it, you know, it might go on forever. But I thought I'd give this a go and see if it makes any difference, and we'll run it later to see if it has. Okay, what are the things we need to do? Oh, first of all, where I got this from, I got these gear cogs from Hornby Hobbies. Okay, ordered that online, trying to stay in focus there. And it costs a pretty sum of, well, it doesn't put the price on there. I think it was a maximum of, it was only about £2 or £3, I think, if I remember rightly. Probably a maximum of about a £5, I think. I'll look that up, and I don't even know what that actually cost, but that's how it came anyway. It's just come as a note there, but it doesn't tell you what price I paid for it. Okay, never mind. But it says there, they supplied with X6904. Okay, so we know we've got the right parts, okay? Oh, and excuse my mug there. Mr. Train Buff, #1 train spotter. A title I don't mind admitting to. Oh, what I'm going to be using today, I've either got a choice of using, I'll decide later on, silicone grease there. I've got a great big huge one of that. Or possibly Molly grease, which is the Hobby Lube. We're deciding what we're going to use there. Hobby Lube Molly grease. Now we're handheld on this, so sorry for the camera's moving around a lot. It's just that it makes it easier for me to demonstrate to you what we got here. So we need this Pico electric servicing cradle, PL70. A box of various tools there, they're in there. Okay, so a little toolbox. That's really a soldering kit in there, but I've got lots of other tools kept in that little box now. And also I got a box of various tools and bits and pieces in this little food container here. Now, one thing I have found useful when I'm working is to do this on a tea tray. You can see I've got the lip on there, the edge going round, and that will help stop things from rolling away, okay? And also I'm working on a hard laminate floor, okay, not on a carpet underneath me, because believe you me, if you lose a spring or a tiny screw into a carpet, that's a formula for trouble. Okay, so that really basically is what my preparation is going to be. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to see the locomotive in the cradle. Okay, so we'll just stop things there for a moment. I'm sorry if I'm pointing the camera in the wrong direction. Now the next stage in the game is removing the body. Now what I'm going to do on this particular one is that potentially to make my life easier, I'm going to also separate the loco from the tender. Okay, now that might be either a good or a bad idea, we'll wait and see what happens. But if you're going to be doing that, you'll need a tool to remove the plug. There's a plug to say, see the white, if you can see it there, the white plug there, there's a white plug. You need to pull that out. And you've got a special tool you can get from Hornby, and it's called an X6468, okay? And that lets you pull the plug out from the tender. And then there's a screw which you can remove also to take the drawbar away. And then the tender's removed from the locomotive, and I think it just makes the whole thing easier to manoeuvre. And also if you're putting in a loco crew, it certainly makes it easier to fit one in. Okay, so the next thing, now what you need to do, obviously, with body removal, is to know how to do it. We've got the instruction sheets here for the Star class, and it tells you body removal, and it tells you to turn the locomotive upside down, rotate the bogie out of the way, and undo the screw. Then turn the locomotive the right way up and ease the chassis down, gently pulling forward to disengage the rear chassis lug from the rear of the body. Okay, so I'm not going to film myself doing this, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that screw. You can see just in front of the, see it there, right, just in front of the bogie it will be, okay? And I'll get that undone. And then the next thing you'll see is this whole locomotive taken apart, okay, with the body removed and with the tender removed. Okay, so we'll just stop things just for a moment. And sorry if the camera's pointing away slightly there. The record button on this. Right, so we're on to the next stage now. Now what we've done is we've removed the tender from the body. Okay, so that's fine. We've removed the body, so there's the chassis all in its glory, so that's the workings of it. You can see I've removed that plug from the tender. And basically what you do with this tool here grips that plug and you just put it out. Just means you won't break the wiring. So sorry if there's moving around a lot. And I've kept the screws to one side. So there's the two screws. That's for the drawbar there. as you can see there, minuscule, and the one for the body. So we know that those are the screws for that. Now we're looking at the service sheet now, and it looks like there's a screw holding that cover, top cover on the motor, and then there's another screw we should be able to get at to undo the motor and is mounting there. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take those off next, and I'll come back to you once I've done that. Now what we've done is we've removed the you can see on the diagram, it's easier to show you on the diagram what I've removed. There's the top cover there, okay, with the screw. There's a mounting with a screw there, okay, the motor mount. And then there's a mounting adapter underneath there with another screw, okay, which you can remove. So here's the parts now all removed. So that's the top cover. I've kept the screw there. There's the motor mount, okay, which the motor sits on. And the motor is removed and lying down by the side of the locomotive there. Okay, so we don't want to pull off any soldering. Sorry, we're going a bit away from it there. Right, so, and you can see, look, you can see the cogs there, look, right there on my finger. Point at them there. Okay, so according to this then, they should just lift out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the orientation of how they go in, like this, and then the bottom ones come out as well. So we've removed the bottom screw now, so that's the two gears now relieved. And what I'm going to do is by the time you come back, you'll see the new gears in place. We'll just refer to the things. You can see the orientation of the gears there. And I've also got the locomotive, you can see, orientated the same way as in the diagram. Okay, so what we're doing next is we'll fit the gear set, okay, and in fact we'll move the tripod around a little bit, and we'll see if we can get that on there now, because I need both hands to do this. You might be able to get to see me actually do this. Okay, so let's put the old gears to one side. And we'll put the new gears in. X6904. Right, so we need a pair of scissors, just get that open. Alright, so let's get these open. And then we'll just check the gears are the same as the ones I've removed. Yes, exactly the same as the ones I've just taken off. So that's fine. So we can see the lower cog is orientated like this. And the upper cog orientates like so. And you can tell if the gears are all together right. Spin the gears, see the locomotive moving, okay? That's fine. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll probably see me now do like a reverse sort of the assembly kind of thing. So next thing we need is some grease to go on here, and I'm going to use, if I got any in there, I'm going to use just a smear of Molly Lube grease. Okay, so let's just put this to one side. and then we'll see if we can get this if none comes out, we'll be using silicone grease now. There we go. Nice blob there, nice blob there, nice blob down there. So that should distribute around the coast quite well there. A bit naughty doing that. And just for good measure, I don't know if this is going to be essential to do such a thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right. I'm just going to put a little drop of oil on those bearings there. Where the where this sits. Okay, so that should do that. Right, now we're going to be doing a reassembly now. So hopefully by leaving all the screws in place, we can put this back together again. Let's take a look and see now. I seem to have done that. Okay, so we'll just put the motor back in place. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, just for good measure, I'll put just a drop of Hornby lube on here. Okay, right, so that should do it. And then we're going to pop this motor bracket back on. And that's a good tip actually. Leave it, that's everything assembled now. You've got the motor attached. We've got the gears put back again. Everything's all done there. We're going to keep the old cogs because it was actually working with those cogs on, so I might as well keep them and not doing any harm. They might save me later on at some later date. But there was no need to disassemble any of the running gear. No need to disassemble anything really on here. Okay, it's all came apart quite easily. Now, I'm going to put the chassis back on in just a moment. Attach the chassis to the body, or the body to the chassis, let's say. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the cradle once again for that, unless I can get this on. There's a lug at the back of here, and it needs to attach onto the locomotive properly, and right, so we'll get that done in just a second. I'm just going to turn the camera off just for a moment. Okay, so you can see body and everything ready to go back together again there. Now, a couple of tips on fitting the body. On the back of here, you can see there's a lug. That's got to go into there, okay? If you don't fit that correctly, your car, and honestly, I've made this mistake myself. Your locomotive will look like the body might go on, okay, if you don't get it on properly. But it looked like I remember those, something like this, I remember back in the 1970s, the old jacked up Ford Anglias, you know, where the back was lifted up high in the air, and you had like this enormous back wheels on them and jacked up back suspension, and they look ridiculous basically, didn't they? Remember? You don't want it looking like that. So you can tell it's located properly because the locomotive is perfectly level and flat there. Also, you need to make sure that those little caster things there, you can see there, they're at the front, okay? And then it's just a question of reassembling the tender back on. Now, it's much easier to work on this locomotive with the tender removed, okay? I find it much easier to do that, okay? So what we'll do is we'll stop this now, and then we'll just reattach the okay, so the last and final stage was to refit the drawbar screw, you can see there, and the plug. See them right next to each other there, okay? And the drawbar screw's got a shoulder on it, and you need to not do it on the close coupling setting, okay? I'm just going to turn the camera off again. Now, the reason why I keep having to wiggle this camera around, I was going to say the reason why I have to keep moving the camera around is that the record button's in a really weird place. I wish this camera had a record button on the back. In fact, the record button's right on the very front of the camera. It's okay unless you're doing this, trying to film yourself doing a job like this. Okay, we can see the screw in the plug, okay? And that's the job finally done. Okay, so now we can see British Monarch going around the tracks, being run in. I'm going to run it in half an hour one way and half an hour the other way. One thing that's quite apparent from this is that this gear cog repair has actually worked. This locomotive is running absolutely quietly now in both forward and reverse gears, and the creaking noise is gone. It was making a creaking noise when it was going forward. I mean, you may have seen that in my previous videos, and it was sort of like as it was going along, and it's not doing that anymore. So we can call this an absolute success. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed watching this video of this Hornby Star Class gear wheel replacement, and pardon me, just had a cough then. To conclude, what I recommend for people to take on, but one thing, you need to make sure you have a decent set of screwdrivers. I use magnetic screwdrivers. I mean, they do help you do one or two things. I mean, one is to obviously keep hold of the screw as it's either coming out or being put in, and also if you drop a screw into anywhere, with a magnetic screwdriver you can more likely retrieve it. Okay, now as long as you follow the instructions and everything else, I mean, it's not really instructions. I mean, you just need to look at the service sheet, download the service sheet off the internet and look at all the parts, and it's really quite self-explanatory how this comes apart and goes back together again. And carrying out such a repair like this, I mean, if it's a success, and when it's a success, it will give, I mean, it gives me a certain sense of achievement. I've done something, you know, I've actually been able to do this, and if I had to tackle the job again, I could do it again. Okay, so if you like what you see, press the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and you'll be made aware of any future videos, and ring that bell just to make sure you get your alerts up. Okay, and then we'll leave it there. And now I can assure you, and I did show you this just quickly before I started running the process, and it does run forward and backwards perfectly well. Now I'll be running this backwards in about a few minutes time, so what we might do is leave the video for now, okay, and we'll just let the extended video just shortly, because what I'll do is I'll show you with the locomotive running backwards. So I'm going to conclude the running in less than 5 minutes now, so I'll stop the camera for now and I'll continue the locomotive being running backwards as well. Okay, right, so in just a moment you'll see Hornby Star Class British Monarch running backwards now. There's running out in for half an hour backwards as well. Give a chance for all that hobby lube grease work its way around all the cogs and everything else. I see I'm running it nice and slow and steady. Now, the actual parts I got from Hornby Hobbyist, okay, and including postage, £6.44, which isn't bad to get a Star Class up and running nice and quietly again. And I'm quite happy with the running of this locomotive now. If you imagine, I mean, you could hear this locomotive going round the track, and it was sort of making a creaking noise as it was going along. You can hear it when it was putting into a junction. It was quite distracting, to be honest with you. It was running okay, and that's why I didn't do anything about it for so long. But the actual repair itself, like I say, is quite straightforward. Okay, so what I would say at the end of this video now is thank you very much for watching, and I should bid you farewell and bye bye.